Hey guys, today we're making a Hufflepuff inspired wedding cake topped with some cute badger models. So I'm working on a dummy for this one. This is a 6-inch round double barrel. Double barrel just means it's a much taller than your average tier. This is 7-inch tall. To adhere my paste, I'm using Trex. This is just veg fat, commonly known as Crisco in the US. You can of course use water or piping gel too. Smear the Trex all over the dummy. It's stuck down on a drum using melted chocolate. We're going to panel this one. This means we can cover the top and sides separately. Lay some paste on the top and smooth it out. Cut off the overhang with a scalpel. Now you'll want to measure the height and circumference of the cake. Roll out a piece of sugar paste so it's bigger than your measurements. The squares on this mat come in handy for keeping track of the size. Roll the paste around a rolling pin. If it's sticky, you'll want to dust it with icing sugar. Stand your paste up against the cake and start unrolling it, sticking it down as you go. Once you get to the back, cut where it overlaps and then push the seams together. Take off excess from the board and squash down the lip with a smedger before trimming up close to the cake. Whilst the paste is soft, trim the top paste, cleaning up any overhang. Rub the seam and then give it a good smooth over with some acetate smoothers. You can of course cover the whole cake in one if you prefer. Massaticino sugar paste will be great for this. Some cheaper sugar pastes aren't suitable and may rip on the top. Here I've covered a 5-inch cake in the usual way and stacked it on top. To get a mustard colour, I have mixed yellow with a few drops of brown airbrush colour. You can see the pure yellow on the bottom and once brown is added above. Now just cover the whole thing. Make sure you've made enough of the mustard colour to use all in one go. Once it's dry, you can cover the board in black. Here I've got black Renshaw's Extra and I'm using the toilet seat method. The full tutorial on that is linked in the description box below. It can also be found on my channel in the Cake Basics playlist. Now this is where the tutorial turns to fudge. Grab yourself some wires. I have green ones in 22 gauge and 24 gauge. Cut the 22 gauge wires into 3 pieces and the 24 gauge into 4 pieces. You'll have a pile of longer and shorter ones. Now take some flour paste. I'm using this white one by Renshaw's. It's quite stiff, so knead it until it's workable. I'm adding some regular brown sugar paste to it to create a light brown. Roll out your paste quite thin, and at this point, if you have a leaf cutter, use it. I don't make foliage often, so I'm using my good old scalpel to cut out organic wavy leaves in various sizes. Using one of your longer wires, dip this in water or glue and roll a small sausage onto the top of it. Twist and thin the sausage down, nipping it a little shorter so it's not bigger than the leaf. Use a ball tool to thin out the edges of your leaf. Lay the leaf into a veiner. Mine's just a standard multi-leaf veiner in 2 halves. Press your sausage on a wire onto the back of your leaf with the wire running towards you. Place the other half of the veiner on top and give it one hard firm press. Pull the veiner apart and squeeze the sides to loosen the paste. The leaf should then pop out attached to the wire. Pinch the base of the leaf and then shape it however you like. Pop it into a dummy until it firms up. Now you need to make lots more. Always make more than you think you'll need. Now I've added more brown to make it darker. Twist another sausage down the wire, this time on the shorter 24 gauge ones. Place it onto a foam pad and then take another piece of foam. This one was from a Wilton flower set, but it's very similar to craft foam. You can even just use another white foam pad for this. You just want to place it on top and give it a squash. This flattens it out into a thin leaf. Make lots and lots and lots of these. Next up is berries. I have no idea what I'm doing, so all the foliage is completely fantasy. Take some pliers to the end of the wire and bend it over into an almost closed hook. Roll a ball from red paste and thread the wire down the centre, carefully pulling the hook down inside it. Make some of these in various sizes and put them aside to dry. Next up is dark green. Pull off a small amount and roll it into a teardrop shape. Dip your wire into water or glue and push it into the base. Pull the base of the paste down onto the wire. Place it onto a foam pad and using your fingers flatten down either side of the wire. You can even use a ball tool on the outer edge. Using a Dresden tool, mark in some lines from the middle outwards for extra detail. Bend and manipulate the leaf to give it shape and pop them all to one side. Now I'd suggest leaving them overnight before messing with them, but I'm short on time, aren't I always? I've got some brown dust, any will do, but this one I've got is chocolate from rainbow dust. Dip your brush in and tap off the excess. Dust down the centres and veins of your pale brown leaves. Here you can see a dusted one and an undusted one, so you can see what a difference it makes. Don't forget the back too. For the skinny leaves, I'm painting these with dark brown sugar flare gel mixed with water. I'm also going down some of the wire too. The green leaves are getting a light dusting with black dust. You can use green if you like, I just didn't have any dark enough. Again down the centres and the veins. Even though the paste is red, we can step it up with cherry red sugar flare gel. Just paint this straight on with a little water. Now they look more like glossy berries. Look at me with these fancy tools I have no right in using. This thing cuts your floral tape down into thinner strips. Think I'm using it the wrong way, but the outcome is still the same. It's brown floral tape shredded into 4 thinner pieces. Again, please leave all your foliage to dry and set. I'm just recklessly moving on, and trust me, I regret it later. Bend your skinny brown leaves so when placed together they look like a V shape. Some bent to the left and some bent to the right. Keep one straight one to use as the top and line up the other angled ones to create this look. Using a thin piece of floral tape, wrap these together, adding in more angled leaves as you move down. Keep going until you're happy with the amount. You can make longer ones and shorter ones. Tape all the way to the bottom and snip off the excess. Now for the green ones. Start taping one wire and add another one in part way down. Keep taping and adding leaves, overlapping them slightly by about half a leaf length. Once you've taped a string of leaves up, open them out to each side. Do the same with the brown leaves, making various size clusters. And you've guessed it, clusters of berries too. Now comes the part you need to ignore everything you're about to see. I am making this up as I go along, nothing new there, except these are flowers and foliage that I know nothing about. I'm merging together a set of the green leaves with the brown ones. Pretty standard so far. But now I decide I want to add some up the top. And now it's difficult to fix these on. Carefully wrapping tape between leaves and wires. My advice would be to plan your spray first and work from top to bottom. Oh look, of course, I now want to add a dark brown spray above this one. Nothing like making it difficult for yourself. Right, just about managed it. But oh yeah, darn berries next. The bottom one is easy enough. I knew it, you want some further up now, don't you? Of course you do. Now I'm making little wire anchors to hold the spray in place. Just bend some wire into a large hook. Or ignore this advice because shoving one of these into a dummy is a bloomin' nightmare. Lay your spray against the cake where you want it. Again, I cannot advise you enough to let your leaves set, especially the paint. Don't use them straight away like I did. Oh look, a broken leaf already. Okay, force those stupid little hooks in the best you can and hold it into position and faff about with the leaf placement. Seriously, look how long I mess with it, creating more broken leaves, trying to bend it to my will. We also have a bit of paint transfer there too. Oh goody. Now make a shorter spray for the other side, learning absolutely nothing from your mistake only half an hour ago. Pin this one in two to create a sort of floral frame. Not enough green leaves on this side, so just shove them in. We are past caring and running out of time. The perfectionist in you is dying inside at your broken skinny leaf spray. Snip it off. Yep, that's right. Cut it straight out of your life with some heavy duty wire cutters and show no emotion as several hours of work leaps from the cake. Then just jam in one of your spare ones to cover up the paint transfer. Hide the join with yet more spares. It's at this point I remembered why I specialise in models and not flowers. Nightmare over with, we can turn to the easy stuff. Trace your chosen quote onto a circle of greaseproof paper that you know fits within your floral frame of doom. Pin this into place with acupuncture needles and trace around the letters to leave an impression. Using your favourite black paint, mine is this one by Rainbow Dust, fill in and follow your lines with a fine paintbrush. To give it a subtle Harry Potter feel, roll some balls of white paste and hide them around the foliage for golden snitches. You can score lines on them if you want. I gave up and just had one snitch and 2 round balls. Use cocktail sticks to secure the ones higher up if you're going on a long delivery. Add in some tiny white balls in and around the frame. This is a small piece of wafer paper. If it's fresh, you should be able to fold it without it breaking. If you live in an area with high altitude, this can dry wafer paper out, quickly causing it to snap in half. Cut out a leaf sort of shape from the fold and open it up to reveal equal sized and shaped snitch wings. Cut them in half and make them a point. To paint them, I'm using my favourite gold. This is non-edible but non-toxic, so the snitches just need to be removed upon serving, as would the foliage and figures anyway. Make this into a paint using lemon extract and paint the snitches. Then push the pointy ends you cut from wafer paper down into the body of the snitch. Finally onto the badges. Take some black paste, I think I'm using Renshaw's Extra here, and roll a fat teardrop shape for a body. Then 2 smaller flattened ones for feet. Mix some black with white to make a grey sugar paste. Using either a scribing tool or a scalpel, mark in 2 lines to create 3 toes. Stick these to the front of the body at either side. With the grey, roll 2 balls and place in the centre of the feet, and then 3 smaller ones on each toe. Insert a cocktail stick down to support the head. For an arm, roll a sausage, leaving it slightly larger at one end, and mark in 2 lines again. Add this to the left side of the body. The head is a black fat teardrop slightly flattened. Next, roll 2 sausages of white paste and line either side of the head. using a larger one down the centre. Tap and merge the sausages so they flatten down. Press in 2 holes for eye sockets. It's going to be pretty hard to see because it's black on black, but insert 2 black pupils followed by an oval nose. A small sausage of white creates a shine and 2 small balls for catchlights. Pale pink rolled into tiny ovals under each eye makes him look a little bashful. Lower it down onto the body and then make another one in the same way, putting one arm on the right instead of the left. Push them close together and stick them to the top of the cake. Now we can add their other arms so they look like they're holding hands. The ears are made with a point of black and a smaller point of white laid on top. Cut flat across the bottom and stick 2 of them to the head with water. And we're done. Finally! Never again with those leaves, thanks! But it did turn out to be a quite cute and subtle Harry Potter cake without the wands, sorting hats and castle. Of course it had to be Hufflepuff as that's my Potter house. Let me know what yours is below. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Even if you probably learned nothing at all, feel free to give it a thumbs up if you feel my pain at those leaf breakages. Thanks for watching, I'll see you again next week. Bye guys.